The Cabinet Secretary for Environment, Duale, has spilled the beans on the biggest mistake that Rigathi Gachagua made that ultimately led to his impeachment fate. Having been a CS for defense, Mr. Duale had some degree of access to classified intelligence on Kenya's internal security, and this includes political temperatures that has been observed to shift like earthquake day in, day out. Duale is convinced that Mr. Gachagua made two big blunders that sealed his fate. The first one is directing all his energies and powers that came with his office to creating numerous political enemies around the country. Here is how Duale puts it.
It's good to invest in friends. And I think the current former deputy president, he invested more in fighting people from his backyard and everywhere, including fighting small people like Dennis Itumbi, Farouk Ibet. You know, when you are big, you don't come to ground zero.
Yeah.
You stay up.
So you're saying he was a bully?
No, he invested. Let me use the right word. He invested more in creating enemies than friends. Yeah. So and that's why you saw, you know, it has never happened in the history of the Kenyan legislature for 282 members to vote in favor of a motion.
Gachagua is said to have been very effective in creating enemies that, despite the numerous unsubstantiated claims tabled against him during his impeachment, both the National Assembly and the Senate could not save him, as the two houses had more of his foes than friends. You remember the sentiments that Gachagua would make towards the retired president, the Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, who apparently had a lot of influence in his Mount Kenya backyard.
Na mimi nataka niseme, niambie president wetu Uhuru Kenyatta, tafadhali rais, tunakuomba kwa heshima, umebaki siku 8 kuja hapa Sagana State Lodge na ukuja na makaton, uchukue vitu yako utoke uende. Wachana na sisi.
Statements which would later haunt him like nightmares. Do you remember the insults and reckless statements that Rigathi had made towards the ODM leader Raila Odinga, who apparently controlled a big chunk of the Nyanza region? You remember this?
Ati hiyo mzee akisema ati he'll not be coerced or intimidated to joining our government. Wewe mzee sikia, we have no business within our government. Hatuna haja na hatugojei wewe, we are not looking for you and we have no time.
By directly attacking Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, Geoffrey Rigathi Gachagua, unbeknown to him, had by extension formed a network of political enemies who had been very loyal to the duo, and who had also successfully obtained elective seats at the Senate and in the National Assembly. In my opinion, I think it became impossible for President William Ruto to instantly eradicate the enmity between his deputy and the legislators. Rigathi's second mistake, at least according to the Honorable Duale, is having a hand in what the Environment CS refers to as a planned coup on 25th of June. It should be understood that this was the very same day that Kenyan Gen Zs staged a historic demonstration against the proposed finance bill of 2024. Parliament was stormed and a number of young people met their death, which is unfortunate, by the way. Duale claims that if we read between the lines, Rigathi was involved in the so-called coup.
25th of June, there was a planned coup. There was a regime change. There was a serious plan of a regime change.
Was Rigathi Gachagua any part of that?
Don't take me that route. I am sure the custodian of intelligence and security.
Yes. But you would defend CS then.
Yes.
You were defense CS.
I was a defense CS. So when I retire, I'll write a book.
No.
Now I'm still in government.
You were just...
Now I'm still under oath of cabinet collective responsibility.
Right.
Yes.
And secrecy oath, whatever.
Yeah.
But still...
But I have told you
yes,
there was a coup.
There was a coup.
There was a coup.
And things could have gotten very
and that's
ugly.
that's why one of the charges against in the impeachment motion was about national security. Yeah. I mean, you need to read, you have written a book. You need to read between the lines. One of the charges is about infringement on the national security. When you are a member of the National Security Council. Then you must abide by how that national, and the president is the chairman.
Now, I understand this is a claim that needs to be substantiated. At the same time, I understand that Duale, having been a CS for defense who sat in the National Security Council, had access to a lot of information that we need not to ignore. Finally, the third and the most serious mistake that Gachagua made is attacking the National Intelligence Service head-on. This is the most sensitive organ of Kenya's national security. No matter the differences that you might have with the president, politicians know that there are institutions that you don't touch. Gachagua's claim that the National Intelligence Service Director General Nuruddin Haji is incompetent and thus he misadvised the president on the mood of the country has to be regarded as one of the biggest blunders in modern politics.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when he called out Nuruddin Haji at one point saying the NIS director is the most useless or whatever he said about it.
There are certain institutions
you don't touch
in our country. No, you don't disparage them. You don't indict them. Not only national intelligence, security organs, National Intelligence Service, the Kenya Defense Forces, the judiciary, you know, the office of the DPP, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, but more so, an institution of the status of the National Intelligence Service. That not only gives intelligence on how to protect our nation, both internally and externally, but engages with other key global intelligence partners. By the time you disparage, and the person disparaging is not Jeff Koinange, it's not the Minister for Forestry or Climate Change, and
it's the DP.
He's a deputy, he's the second in command. Yeah, it's not small. It has never. I think it has never happened in our history.
If you're watching for the first time, please go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more informative content such as this. Also, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below so that I can find out what your opinions are. And also don't forget to check out the other videos that I've also made regarding the current issues in our country. Cheers.